Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jaden Mount.
I'm West Bradford.
And welcome to Legally Compromising, where we discuss issues facing the United States and the international community. Today's story is actually on the Syrian refugees. Obama recently announced that he will admit over 200,000 refugees from Syria in the next couple of months. Initial thoughts from you on that?
I like the humane action he's taking, allowing these refugees to come in. I'm shaky on the security factors of this. I think that's going to put us at a security risk because what is true is that most of these refugees are men. Now, there are women and children involved, but the majority of these refugees are men. And it's very easy to get ISIS or other terroristic factors to, hide in the shadows and come in. So I hope that we do let these people in because, they need a place to go. I mean, what's going on in their country is completely awful with ISIS. But we do need to do intensive screenings, making sure they are who they say they are, making sure they're not coming here with false intentions, making sure we know what we need to know before we let them into our country. But I'm all for this is another form of legal immigration. Let these people come over here on visas, let them become citizens, and let them be a part and have that American dream.
Exactly. One specific story I found was on Mr. Hussam al-Rustan, who's actually one of 1,682 refugees that have been admitted into the New York area since October 1st of 2014. So over a year ago, 78 of those individuals have settled in New York. Mr. Rustam more in the New Jersey area, along with his wife, his 3-year-old daughter, and a 7-year-old son. Now, what he said when he came over to America, he felt like one of those action heroes, but who have already lost everything. They lost their home, probably lost other family members,
just
lost
life, everything.
Exactly, lost that sense of pride, of being that nationalistic pride from Syria, because that was definitely one of the countries involved back then with the whole nationalism.
Yeah.
But then when he finally came over here, he felt like one of those action heroes, lost everything, and now he's safe. That's how he feels, and that's what we want to give to every one of those people who are leaving that war-torn region of the Middle East.
And as the United States of America, we have to be that leader. And I hope I think Obama's main purpose for this was to get other European nations on board, saying, hey, us Americans as a world leader, we're allowing 200,000 in. Maybe nations such as Germany, Hungary, Czechoslovakia, Austria, Switzerland, so open up your gates and let these refugees in from more it's not their fault. Like ISIS. I call them the overnight sensation because they came out of nowhere.
They did,
and they're tearing their country to parts. You see on the news all the time, all the historical landmarks. ISIS is destroying in the name of Allah, and it's just wrong. And I feel sorry for these guys. I hope more Americans welcome them with open arms, because what I'm fearful for is Islamic phobia in this country due to 9/11. And I'm fearful that there's going to be a lot of hate crimes committed against these people who just want a better life for themselves and for their family, just like the immigrants who came to this country who made this great country today. They're looking for better lives for themselves and their family.
A definite analogy, I'm going to throw it a year out there. I'm pretty sure it's the 1800s, because it was during the build of the Continental Railroad.
Yeah.
Okay. The biggest
Manifest destiny.
Exactly. But the biggest issue with, and I'm going to point out racism, is the fact that all the Asian immigrants that came to California, you had,
Excuse me.
and the name escapes me, but there was an island that was similar to that of
Angel
New York,
Island.
Angel Island. Thank you, where all these immigrants were basically just stuffed into what was very similar to like a naval ship, living on, say, a battleship, USS
Yeah,
Mississippi.
to have their transition into the general population,
Exactly.
scan them for diseases, making sure all their paperwork's up to date and everything.
Which is a good thing. You just have to make sure that you're not taking away anything they wanted to become.
Like more humane way.
Exactly.
Because it was very unsanitary conditions, but they were coming.
Many died.
Yeah, they were there for days, if not weeks, trying to get
Months.
out to get to Los Angeles and get work and all that.
Yeah. What was Ellis Island?
Ellis Island's for New York. Yes.
And that was more for the German.
More European.
More European.
Yeah.
A lot of them German, Irish. Sweden was another
Swedish,
big one.
yeah.
Which also brings me to the point, Germany especially, the rich countries of Europe are wanting these people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they're offering them with open arms. Poorer countries, big example, Hungary,
Yeah.
are building these gates, are putting up, it's almost like U.S. and Mexico border.
Yeah.
Over there. They're putting up guards, they're putting up massive fences just to keep these people out because they don't want to deal with them. They don't have, their economy's in shambles essentially, and they just don't have the money or the manpower to invest.
Well, it's not saying that those refugees are staying in Hungary. It's more of a passage country to Germany where they know they have safe haven, because Germany has it's a status for immigrants where you can stay there a whole year until you have to get your stuff in order unless you get kicked out. So I mean, these refugees are just passing through these countries, and it's a shame that Hungary and other countries are following suit and put up these fences stopping them from coming through their countries. Now these refugees are not exactly being the most thought conscious to the Hungarian people. They leave a lot of trash and waste, and they get into traffic. But I mean, it's still, you shouldn't make the journey harder for them. You should give them another route or alternative, like put up a designated route for, hey, if you're fleeing from Syria, take this route to Germany instead of closing off your borders. That's, in my opinion, is what they should do.
A good analogy for that is probably a safer version of the Trail of Tears.
Yeah.
Not where people die or anything, but just a better passage.
Well, I mean, if you don't want them getting into, like going through your cities, going and messing up your trains and stuff, like give them their specific trains, give them a specific route, and get them to Germany out of your hair if you don't want them there that much,
Exactly. Well, and this also goes back to how Americans treated the Native Americans, which is no longer according to historians and anthropologists, which is no longer the political term, which the new name escapes me, and I'll probably put that down
I can't
below.
say it myself.
Oh, it's not the one that we were talking about earlier. It starts with an A. Folks in Frank Arnold's world history class, my class, would know what I'm talking about. But we treated them so poorly. Now this is a completely different issue where we were pushing them off their lands. They've already gotten pushed off.
Yeah.
But instead of going up into designated areas or open terrain to where we could build something for you, they're going to already populated areas, already established regions. Not demanding, but just like crying out for some
help.
Humanitarian aid.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. And they deserve it. It's not their fault that their country's in ruins,
No, it's not.
And as humans, we should be compassionate to other humans, no matter what their nationality or their race is. And you see Germany, they're giving them food, blankets, water, shelter, work, temporary visas if they want to stay in Germany to become citizens. And I think America is going to be the leader in all of this, and other nations are going to follow suit, I hope.
Typically, that's the stance America takes. Although it may change if Mr. Trump becomes president.
Yeah.
He has sworn to send each and every Syrian refugee, like Mr. Al-Rustam, back to Syria.
And the American population doesn't agree with that at all.
I don't think they would.
There's no, like, hooray, Trump is saving America. It's like, Trump, you're really being a real redneck about this.
I agree. It's sad, xenophobia. It's going back to that fear of foreigners, and some of those fears are reinforced with Muslim phobia, or Islamic phobia, as you say, where we're afraid they're going to blow up our postal offices, blow up our homes, city streets. But you also got to think, which influences ISIS a lot, that we've had American citizens who have attempted to go over and join ISIS. That's the scary thing. A terrorist is no longer just a Middle Eastern individual with a long beard and a headdress. It can be anything. Common day.
Exactly. And another aspect of terrorism, we forget about domestic terrorism, where we have people, homegrown terrorists, who are also plotting attacks. We're worried about the foreign, Islamic praying, Muslim population, where we have terrorists that are in our own backyard we don't know about yet until they strike. And it's a very fearful thing to do. And another thing about Trump is it's funny that he says he's going to kick out all these Syrian refugees, and he's not big on immigration. In fact, that his wife is from Slovakia. is an immigrant from Slovakia. She's not a
natural born.
Yeah, she's not natural. She immigrated over here, and his children are also part Slovakia. So,
That's interesting.
It's kind of I'm trying to think of the term, hypocritical.
That is.
For him to say he wants to kick out all these refugees when his wife was not a refugee, but she's an immigrant to this country.
I think that'll probably come up in the next Republican political debate.
I'm
hoping somebody does.
I hope someone points that out besides us.
Mm-hmm. And definitely. Well, definitely thank you guys watching this last segment of our episode 2 of Legally Compromising. Be sure to go and like us on Facebook, and we'll see you all next time.
Have a good evening.